BEFuture Knowledge Hub, where experts share their experiences dealing with the challenges facing our industry today. To help the event sector flourish, BEFuture explores the role of technology, highlights how sustainability helps us thrive, considers the role talent plays, and paves the way for the transformation that will boost resilience. The future is now. This episode looks at how the future of business events is perceived through the eyes of young professionals.
As a young professional, I look to events to provide an opportunity to network and to meet new people. I also really appreciate the helping hand that kind of setup mentoring can provide, because it means that young professionals are paired with sometimes more intimidating, more senior, more wise professionals, and it is just kind of that starter for networking that we need a little bit when we're just new to the industry still. For young generations, I think what makes events the most interesting is when it's about the experience first. So there's an element of immersion into the destination where the event is being held, when there's a chance to collaborate with other individuals and co-create maybe with people who are from the destination as well. I think really thinking through the strengths of the host destination and bringing those into the meeting is something that really excites the younger generation. For young professionals, the idea of business as usual is kind of a no-go, and it's something that event professionals do wrong when they approach strategies for engaging this younger generation. We're not looking to do just the quick transactional hi and bye. We really want to establish a connection with the folks that we're talking to and to learn more about what it is that a destination has to offer, how an event's impact can be maximized by coming to that destination. It's really not just about the dates, rates, and space anymore, but how an event's destination can align with the values of that association. I think that the future of the business events industry is going to hang on the sustainability of the events industry. And I mean that not just in terms of the industry's impact on the environment, but how it considers the social ramifications that events have, how it considers the economic ramifications of an event, and making sure that the proper connectors are put in place so that the host destination's benefiting as much as possible, socially, culturally, economically, and environmentally. I think that the business events industry has a fighting chance at implementing regenerative principles. There's quite a bit of education that needs to happen within the industry, but you see all over that there are advocates and champions for the idea of having an event come into a destination and leave it better than where it started. And I think we're on the upswing with that. There's a lot more work to do, but from my view, I think within our future, we can see an events industry that looks more regenerative. I think that there's definitely a place for hybrid meetings, for virtual meetings, because it allows more access. It removes a lot of barriers to access for some people who would really benefit from the content shared at meetings and the networking who wouldn't otherwise be able to attend. There's no downplaying the impact that an in-person meeting has. I think there needs to be a fair balance between the two. Technology has made it much more seamless to have those kinds of connections that you can foster in person, but we're not quite there yet. So I do see technology continuing on in this way because it's the trend that we're experiencing right now, and I'm excited to see where it goes next. Sustainable options are still something that is optional, an optional add-in to a meeting. It's not something that's going to be taken as seriously as it really needs to be. We know that when it comes to business events, it's convenience and cost that are the two biggest factors. So for sustainability to be reliably implemented by all meetings, we need to make sure that it is convenient and that it is cost effective for event organizers and destinations. I think that that is where the industry is trying to head, but we're going to need a lot of top-down leadership and legislation, mandates, real rules put into place around sustainability to make sure that it actually happens. I think looking towards the future, event professionals really need to be creative. They need to be nimble. They need to be very transparent in what they do. I think that is extremely important as we head into this era of reporting metrics and of really talking about what an impact a meeting has, those tangible and intangible impacts. Transparency and honesty are going to be incredibly important, especially as we start this journey. There's a temptation to be the first to market with ideas, to brag about what you've accomplished without maybe having the evidence. And I think that data-first conversations are going to be key to a successful industry. From the perspective of a young professional, the temptation to oversell yourself is high because it's very intimidating to come into a room where people have decades of experience compared to you. But the most important thing is to be honest, to be true to yourself, and to bring your personality first, because that's the best way to foster the real connections that will get you to where you see all of these senior professionals around in the room.
In my opinion, in the future of business event industry, young professionals have to have mainly two characteristic personality or skills, I would say. The first one, adaptability. The second one is being open-minded. We should also act as a bridge to different generation as well. So I work in a company where I represent the younger generation, and my board of directors, they are in their 60s and in their 50s. I don't feel it is difficult. In fact, I take it as a challenge. I have to make myself be open-minded, that I take the creativity of the younger generations, which my subordinates and my teammates are, and I also take in the experience and the advices that my board of directors are giving me the guidance. So that's, I think being open-minded is very, very important for every one of us, so we can all improve our events based on the previous experience and also the creativity. As an event professional and thinking about young generations, I would say gamifications and engagements could be a big elements in terms of having them interesting for the younger generations. The reason is without engagements, the attention span would just be gone like within an hour or so, and then everyone will just start walking out to get coffee or get a tea break. So I think having engagement, having the younger generations to be part of the event is a very important element. I think mostly the event organizers think a fixed agenda would do the job. So especially for the annual congresses or the annual meetings, they always do reckon that I will just fix whatever that was happening last year. It was a successful event, and they just duplicate the same model and then move it out to the current model. But the fixed agenda doesn't work for the younger generations and for anyone who would like to make the event interesting, because they or likely have already attended the last year event or the other events that have the same model. So I think the most wrong thinking is that one fixed agenda, one fixed successful formula equals to every success in the future. I think AI certainly help, definitely would help with the work-life balance, but I do think that is a line that should be drawn. Too much AI, we lose human connection. As we always say, that too much is always not good. But then technology actually does help to enhance the event experience. Let's say we take an example of registration. Having AI, having the good system would definitely enhance the entire queue in terms when we're collecting our badge, as simple as that. But too much, if we, let's say, every hospitality, every reception gonna replaced by AI, then I think it lost the meaning of having an event or having a congress. To me, the role of technology in future of business events is to enhance, not to replace, the elements of human connection. In terms of sustainability, the sustainability definition is being understood in different ways. So I think the biggest challenge is also a different understanding of sustainability. Take it and everyone start to focus on planet mainly. But sustainability actually has 3 P's in it, like people, planet, and profit. So I think the different understanding of what sustainability is the biggest challenge. So having an aligned expectation and aligned definition of it will definitely help us to move forward to also promote sustainability in a bigger scale.
As an event professional, I think to make an event very interesting for the next generation is to have it very interactive. I think we all want to co-create, we want to exchange our viewpoint, we want to indulge in discussions, we want to network. It's still like the old school version is still just a frontal presentation and people sitting in the audience and actively listening, but that's definitely nothing for the next generation. So what I think is that the event organizers always think of themselves as attendees and not about the next generation and what they are really interested in. They also often underestimate the comfortability that young people have with virtual meetings as well, because they grew up with it. So really an event has to be very interactive, very open, very out of the box, so a young person actually considers really going there and not just looking at a webinar online. So my ideal scenario for the business events industry in the future is that it's finally more sustainable than it is now, that it is extremely inclusive and that it really doesn't offer any barriers, because sometimes it still seems like the more senior generation that they don't really have a lot of understanding for youngsters, and I hope that there will be much more understanding in regard to co-creation, and that the event industry will also see the value that the next generation of event professionals can bring to each conference. I think in the future the event experience will still have a lot of virtual elements to it, so I'm assuming that in the foreseeable future there will be often session recordings or still speakers that are added remotely to join a session. I think that because of all the virtual element to it, that the networking part and the personal interaction is going to become the predominant part of each meeting. The biggest trend, of course, AI, definitely going to come in. For our industry, I predict that more in a matchmaking approach. So you really, for example, like trade fairs like IMEX, where you have 13,000 participants, AI can really help you to find exactly the perfect match for you and your meeting. I think the biggest challenge that the event industry has with sustainability is, to a certain extent, the industry itself. So our industry lives off getting people to travel to a place from all around the world, or really to encourage them to travel by train. And I really see that in many cases convenience always prevails. Just from my personal experience, like I live in Vienna and I travel to Frankfurt by train. It's a very convenient 6.5 train travel, but from all the people from Vienna participating, only one other person took the train, which is something that I personally really do not understand. So I think we have to actively communicate how important that is, and that it's not just about, oh, we're there quicker, but really about the planet. The younger generation, we actively think about it, we reflect on our choices, and we really critically view the industry, whereas people that have already a very senior role, it's just not as much in their personality. For us, it's naturally that we have our reusable cups with us, and it's a process to also convince the people that have been around longer that this is a very crucial aspect. And I think we can never talk enough about sustainability. I think it's really important to collect best practices examples, to really show what people do and how it can work, instead of really just talking about it, finally to start doing. What I also think our industry should do is that they should really actively start to work together with universities, with students, so we really can ensure that we get these fresh new ideas into our industry. The foreseeable future, I think an event professional will definitely need the skill to adapt. I think flexibility, adaptability are absolutely crucial. We have to get to step away from this, oh, we've always done it like this, let's just continue doing it like that, and really be able to react to challenges that the ever-changing world throws at us very quickly.
From our contributors' experiences, we hope you will remember 3 key takeaways. Business as usual is not enough. Younger professionals are keen to focus on sustainable solutions and co-creation. Fresh ideas are vital for the future of the events industry. Fortunately, there are a lot out there to explore. This webcast is part of a series in which we will be exploring the latest ideas on sustainability, carbon measuring tools, human engagement in a virtual landscape, event design, and many other topics that are central to helping our industry thrive. So watch this space for more expert contributions exploring the proactive approaches that will help shape our industry's future. We hope you can benefit from the insights just shared. If you have found the content useful, then please make the most of the other resources BEFuture has to offer.